Hello, this is a video from sitbacksys.com. I am Chris, and joining me today is Teflon. Say hello, Tef.
Hello.
And we are going to talk about the co-op from Homefront Revolution, which you recently went hands-on with, I believe.
That is correct, yes.
So this game, I played the single player of this back at EGX last year. It's very enjoyable. I liked it a lot. Some people were slightly surprised that I liked it, but I thought it was really good. It's well put together. So does the co-op, is that single player campaign co-opable, if that's a word? Because there's because you've got AI teammates are very much part of what's going on there, or AI comrades, not so teammates.
Yes, there are fellow Resistance members.
Yeah.
No, actually, it's interesting that it kind of like an old school split between the two.
Oh, okay.
So you've got the campaign. That's basically you. Mm-hmm. You're playing as that particular character, and you've got AI friends alongside you and stuff like that. And then the first example that springs to my mind is how, if you remember Resistance 2 on the PlayStation 3, that had a separate co-op campaign where it was just in that case it was much different in terms of the actual gameplay as well, but it was a separate entity, and you'd play those missions, but the single player was separate. So here you've got, it's up to 4-player co-op.
Oh, okay.
And there's 12 distinct missions in the game at release, and they're sort of planning to add, I think they said something along the lines of maybe another dozen in the year after release as well. So there's going to be plenty to be getting on with.
I mean, that's a solid level of support.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously they're not going to stop supporting the game in other ways as well.
Yeah, but that's for that particular element. I'd say 12 new missions over the next year is a pretty good commitment to keeping it rolling.
Yeah, and also it's not paid for DLC. It's
nice.
Just free being thrown in. So it's
okay. Because I was assuming that's going to be the season pass, but that's nice that they've done it that way round.
Yeah, I think the one thing coming out of it is that it feels quite a bit more guided than the single player demo, which you and I have played.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's very open world.
Yeah, in that case, it was very much like you're in the red zone that we were in?
Yeah.
And it's okay, here's a bunch of objectives. Yeah. You can go and do them, and that's fine. Or you can do something else, or you can just ride around on your motorbike.
I really liked it. I thought it was really well. That is really well put together as a nice kind of combination of open world with a very loose mission structure going on at the same time.
Yeah, so this, I mean, because obviously you've got 4 people, they kind of want to funnel you so that you're sticking together, and so you've always got...
that makes sense, right?
Yeah, so you do lose a bit of that open world feeling. The other thing is that I think it's out in May, so there's about 4 months before release. You might see that in the video behind. There might be a couple of rough edges there.
Yeah. So what kind of missions are we talking about here? Because there's a variety from what I've seen of the single player. We've only seen a little bit, but there was a good variety in there. So what are we looking at here, given it's a more guided experience?
Yeah, I think these they're going to have a bit of crossover with the kinds of proper missions that you'd have in the campaign. Obviously tweaked and adjusted to suit for people. And so stuff like we've got to go and align some satellite arrays. Another one had us defending a safe house from the North Koreans as they were attacking. They're sort of trying to clamp down on you, and so we've been discovered, and you've got to hold the line. And then after a little while, it'll say, "All right, you can pull back," or they're coming from the right-hand side, that kind of thing. And the last one, which is the section I was allowed to video, it was breaking into a base. Oh, actually, one of my favourite little touches is that they call the North Koreans Norks.
I like that. That's good.
Well, yeah, because it's a British developer, so they're just boobs. But I don't think anybody outside of Britain's really going to understand the reference.
No, not at all.
Which I think is brilliant.
But it also does sound like it sounds like an offensive slang term that makes sense, you know.
Yeah, and I mean that always happens in historical wars. So it's Jerry's from World War II
exactly.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's why it works perfectly, and for British people, it's very funny.
Yes, because boobs are funny. That's just universally accepted.
Pretty much.
Where was that? Oh yeah, this final mission, it was breaking into a Nork base and stealing a pair of trucks, and it's sort of you need to get them to the extraction point without them being damaged, and so you've got to escort them along this path and stuff like that. But I think they're always going to try and keep you feeling as the underdog.
Yeah, but that's kind of very much the theme of the whole game.
And there's even though you are guided, you're still kind of in this semi-open world, so there are random patrols, and
oh, okay.
If you're not careful, those can catch you out.
Yeah.
there was one point where I got a little bit separated because some of the bad guys came up behind, and I was just like, oh, okay, they've got a truck, I know how to destroy a truck, I can just do this really quickly. And I ran around, tried to shoot the truck in the back, and then I got killed by like the guards that were running alongside it, and I was like, oh, god damn it. And so it does need you to work as a team. They obviously throw a few more enemies at you, and like they're putting you in different situations so that you have to work together and like be coordinated. Obviously, if you get downed, then you can be revived by your friends and stuff like that. But I think they're going to it's going to be a bit more than just being sheer numbers to add to the difficulty, and so it's the kind of mission that you're given as opposed to just throwing extra people at you.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I like that they're keeping the random patrol structure in there as well. It is because there is, I would feel, with this, particularly with this type of game, there's the temptation to kind of just throw away a lot of what's in the single player to make it co-op. So it's nice that they're keeping that there. I mean, one of the things that I really like from the single player is the crazy gun. So I assume you can still do that here.
Oh yeah, no, all of that's still there. So you've got I'm not sure what they're calling it, but basically the equipment wheel.
Yeah, there is a name for it. I can't remember what it is though.
Gorilla Toolkit?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
If it isn't, then I just came up with the free buzzword for Deep Silver.
No, I'm sure that's it. So it's too good for it to not be that.
Yeah. You've still got the Gorilla Toolkit, and so you've got you need to collect like the chemicals and whatever in order to make a Molotov cocktail. Then
you can like strap a Molotov on top of a toy car.
Exactly. It's exactly that kind of on-the-fly hodgepodge creations, and so you're still looking for those things. I think those might be consistent from one mission to the next.
Oh, okay, that's really nice.
So you do have this particular character. And also, yeah, you've got all of the weapon customization. So your shotgun, you can turn it in so that then it's shooting Molotov cocktails and gouts of flames are coming out the end. Or one of my favourite ones from this preview was I didn't actually get too many of the attachments and things, so I didn't really get to play with these myself. But other people in my group of 4, one of them got the fireworks launcher, which is just ridiculous.
Sounds good to me.
And hugely hysterically patriotic, because the shower of sparks that came out at the end when it hit its target is red, white, and blue. And it's just like, oh god, okay.
Amazing. That sounds great. Well, obviously in the single player you've just got one guy, so I'm assuming like you're not playing as that guy in the co-op. I don't like it when games do that in co-op, like where you just have 4 Master Chiefs. It feels really lazy. So are they doing like, is it a different character here or what?
Yeah, so the co-op missions are set after the story of the main game. So basically you're creating your own new character specifically for the co-op. You can create several characters, so you can play with different people. You've got like different groups of friends maybe, and so you've got different progression levels with each character. But you've got like a specific upgrade tree. But my favourite touch from it is that you can pick your character's former profession before joining the Resistance. So you've got obvious things like teacher, lawyer. You've got slightly less obvious ones like a barista or a mall cop or a carny.
I like that though, because that does fit in with the whole it's a resistance kind of theme. You know, these aren't trained fighters.
It's nice that it gives you this base level, and although it's got this huge list, and a lot of them are really quite hilarious. I like games developer being on there, and it's sort of like you've got +1 to a couple of attributes, but you can also be like a personal shopper, and it's like, well, what does being a personal shopper give you? And so maybe that, I don't remember off the top of my head exactly what it is, but maybe that is when you're scavenging, you're able to find extra stuff. And so it sort of fits into these little archetypes and gives you a little boost to start off with. Although you start off with this character and this boost, that's not what is your character. Your character is what you grow them into being with the upgrades and the experience that you earn from playing through these missions several times and like doing them at higher difficulty levels and stuff like that.
How are you doing those upgrades though? Because I assume you've got this character upgrade system, right?
Yeah. Well, you've got the 4 categories where you can level up along the lines of brains, brawn, fighter, and survivor. I've got written down. As we were playing, the person sat to my right who kept going down, and so the first upgrades that I bought to lessen the amount of time it takes to revive people and stuff like that. So yeah. So then I have a particular role in the group.
Yeah. So do you start out I assume then you're kind of all starting out fairly vanilla, and then you specialise from there.
Yeah, and like you can specialise a bit because you do have these 4 categories.
Yeah.
But the other thing that's going to help you specialise is what you get in what they call the resistance crates. And this is everything from cosmetic gear, so you could get a fancy hat.
I'm on board with fancy hats.
Yeah, exactly. Who doesn't want a fancy hat? I hope they've got like stupid like pimp hats in there and things like that.
Yeah, that's what it needs. If it hasn't got that, they've missed the trick.
Well, the other thing is that you have to think that Deep Silver is also the publisher for Saints Row these days. So,
exactly.
you know, they've
got
have
all
a
those
crossover.
Assets.
Yeah,
they've got
exactly.
all those assets. But the resistance crates, are they going to be free, or are they kind of like the drops that are in the latest Halo, where it's like slightly paid, I think?
Yeah, well, you can buy the crates as like a kind of time saver with real money.
Yeah.
But they are. But I mean, that's always going to hold a stigma with it, and I'm not really a big fan of it when that's randomized stuff like this is, because I mean you can get
exactly. That's why I don't like a lot of the stuff Steam does in that regard. It just seems really scummy. Not to say that this is in particularly going to be bad, but like sometimes as you say, when you've got that randomized element to it, and people are paying for it, it seems like it's not a great system, that the consumer's not necessarily getting very good value out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it from both sides, though.
Absolutely.
The thing that they want to avoid is having the so-called pay-to-win thing.
Yeah.
In a co-op game, that doesn't really matter because you're working alongside someone, so paying to win doesn't give you anything extra over someone else. And, like, it's not just cosmetic stuff. This is how you get the weapon attachments, and... I mean, you can specifically buy a resistance crate for a weapon attachment, or for weapon attachments, plural. So, in that regard, that's not random. You're going to get a weapon attachment. But, yeah, I don't know. It's sort of... Obviously, you don't have to indulge in it. You can just play the game, and I don't think that they're going to really balance it in such a way that you have to, in order to get these drops. It's just going to be, like, that is the upgrade system for your character. So it's going to be, you know, a certain curve, and that's it.
Yeah. So just to recap then, this is going to be at launch with 12 missions and then 12 more missions coming over the rest of the year, right?
Yep. Well, that's the rough plan that they have for the post-launch support.
So, but you're getting more missions and they're coming for free. It's not part of the season pass.
That's right, yeah.
And we're going to get 4-player co-op, mission-based. It's separate from the campaign, and it launches May 20th in Europe. Well, I'm been happy to talk about that. It's a game I'm quite excited about, quite interested in, and it's nice to see that they're adding co-op into a game in a way that not a lot of games do anymore. So it's quite good. I'm very on board with it. This has been a video for thesixfactors.com. We'll be back soon with even more videos, but for now, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Good job. Now, get to the control room and get the gates open for Tobias and his squad.